political games. Her campaign, the numbers are showing, her campaign is struggling. She did not get a wave of momentum off the Democratic convention. She did not get a wave of momentum off the debate against Donald Trump, which she clearly won. Trump was unprepared, unfocused, unable to make the points in that debate that he should have made. But her numbers are flat, and her numbers continue to be flat. And so she's not above doing anything, whether it's honest or dishonest. I'm not sure she's capable of being honest. So she is coming after Governor Ron DeSantis for not taking her call. Ron DeSantis is sort of laughing at this, but he doesn't need to make his own arguments on this. All you have to do is, if you were watching the Weather Channel last night and you were watching Jim Cantori, who I think was in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area, he was in a parking garage and the waters were rising and they had pylons behind him holding up the parking garage with marks on them, and you could see from one Cantori report to another how the waters were rising. Did you catch Jim Cantori saying this amid one of his reports?
What you can count on here is the state of Florida. DeSantis and Guthrie are a well-oiled machine. They've got so much in line here, and Kevin said it earlier on. I want you as my state to prepare for 7 landfalls this year. All right, I want you to prepare for that, and we've already had 5 obviously throughout the Gulf. 2, 3 here in Florida alone. But that having that kind of forethought and getting 50,000 utility trucks on standby, having gas reserves and things like that, because now you've got to get people back in here eventually.
So DeSantis is experienced at this. He's proven. What was the bridge that was out in one of the previous hurricanes last year? And the bridge was back up within 2 weeks. Bridge to an island where people would have been stranded. I think it was Sanibel Island. The Guthrie that Jim Cantori was speaking of there is the emergency management guy in Florida. His name is Kevin Guthrie. But make no mistake, DeSantis is just a machine on handling these things. And this is why the Republicans fear him. As I was getting ready to leave the studio yesterday, I noticed that the White House was having a Zoom call briefing with FEMA, which was just such a theatrical production. We got Joe Biden, Alejandro Mayorkas, head of Homeland Security. We got the Dion Criswell, the stupid, incompetent head of FEMA, and Kamala Harris on a Zoom call. This is all production. This is kabuki theater. Oh, look at us. We took criticism for Biden being on the beach in Delaware, for Harris being at a swanky campaign event in Nevada, Mayorkas saying FEMA's out of money after Helene and we don't have any money for the next hurricane. They took so much justifiable criticism for that they decide yesterday they're going to hold a public Zoom call, and Fox carried it. Now, 2 things stood out to me in the call. Number one, they had to discuss how dangerous misinformation is. Oh, the misinformation. It's so dangerous. I mean, we can't have the misinformation. So we're not going to warn you about the winds. We're not going to warn you about the surf. We're not going to warn you about the storm surge. We're going to warn you about the disinformation. Don't say anything. Oh, if you say anything about the government and FEMA being incapable of helping you, oh, that's super dangerous. Okay. The other part that stood out, and the only explanation I have for this is Kamala Harris might be, which I didn't think was possible, dumber than I thought she was. She clearly has an earpiece in from somebody feeding her information or questions or orders to take your hand down, move this, look more presidential, blah, 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 blah. In the middle of being on camera, she either forgot to mute her mic or someone else forgot to mute her mic. And she covers her mouth as if, she's speaking into a microphone, covering your mouth. Watch. If you're watching on my social media streams or on the 9890 Answer Facebook page, I'm going to cover my mouth now and I'm going to keep talking. Can you hear me talking? Or because I'm covering my mouth, can you not hear me talking? Of course you can hear me talking, right? Because the mic is on. She covers her mouth and says to whoever is giving her orders, I'm on a live microphone. You can hear her say it. I'm on a live microphone. And shortly thereafter, she then goes, I have a question, Kevin. I have a question about, and the question, of course, is about something inane, stupid. I don't know if it was about misinformation or whatever it was. She is so bad at every aspect of being a public official. It's just that now we've become aware of it, because when you're in California, you can hide as the Attorney General. When you're in California, you can hide as a senator and you can grandstand at the Kavanaugh hearings. When you are in the White House as vice president, you are an ornament and a basic servant of the president. You go to dead foreign leaders' funerals. That's your chief job as the vice president. Okay. But they elevated her, right? Like from the not just after they pushed Joe off a cliff. They elevated her from day one. Why? Because what's their love language in the Democratic Party? Intersectionality. Your immutable characteristics, the characteristics you have no input in, your race, your sex, you have no ability to change or order either one. That is what they prize in the Democratic Party. So from day one, it's been the Biden-Harris administration. Was it the Reagan-Bush administration? Was it the Clinton-Gore administration? Was it the Obama? I can't even remember who his vice president was. Whoever. Biden. All right. Oh, see? I'm trying to forget the old boy. Thought he was in the ground already. No, never. They elevated her from the beginning. Oh, it's the Biden-Harris administration. He even called her, because he's brain dead, President Harris from time to time. So she can wear every disaster that they have. In fact, she pretty much put every failure they have on herself yesterday on The View, which has already been turned into a Trump commercial, which I'll play for you next.
This afternoon, the high today at 67, clear chilly evening, low tonight 40, partly sunny, terrific day tomorrow, the high 74, ending clear skies tomorrow night, low 50, clouds and sun, nice day on Saturday, the high 74, partly cloudy Saturday evening, low 57, clouds and breezy, shower or two on Sunday, high Sunday 72, Monday, partly sunny, cooler day, the high only 57. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your
thank you.
Cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484, 800-839-8484, 800-839-8484.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem.
Where are you out of?
Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote,
on major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala
Where
Harris.
are you located?
97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty, and Social Security benefits too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
Ignore it, because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
It's finally here. Fine Home Furnishings, Polaris Location's grand opening. Dive into a world of premier American-made furniture featuring the best brands and endless customization options. The grand opening event offers special deals and a chance to transform your home with furniture as unique as you are. Don't miss out. Come celebrate. Fine Home Furnishings, Polaris Parkway. Fine Home Furnishings, OH.com.
Boy, I slept so well last night. And one of the reasons why is because I'm really, really comfortable. And I'm really, really comfortable because I sleep on a MyPillow mattress topper. I snuggle up under my Giza Dream bed sheets. Yeah, it was cold last night. And, of course, because my head rests on a MyPillow. You will never spend less money than you will spend now to get your own MyPillow, because Mike Lindell, in the aftermath of being canceled by some stupid politically driven big box store, has canceled a major order with MyPillow, and you benefit, because in order to get rid of the pillows that he had already manufactured for the store, Mike has discounted the standard MyPillow to less than $15. And if you would like queen size or a king size MyPillow, you can get either one for under $20. That is crazy, but hey, you're not at liberty to refuse to take advantage of some big box store's mistake. So do it. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce. So we will have for you at 11:30 today something that I think is very important for you to listen to. It is not really news of the day. We'll have plenty of time to get to that, the wokeness and the craziness that is out there. Actually, you know what? I may delay that segment that I was going to do at 11:30. I may delay it until 12:30 today because I want to keep you with me. And if you're not somebody who is deeply into the Christian faith, if you listen to the show because of conservative politics, I don't want you to tune out then and then refuse to come back. So 12:30 today, though, if you want a Christian perspective on voting, why you should vote, and how you should evaluate to whom you give your vote, stand by for 12:30 today, because I found some fantastic audio from a pastor who I've just researched, and I've finally been able to identify his location and his name. And I want to share that with you at 12:30 today. We will, of course, endeavor to reach our friend Matt Mayer of Opportunity, Ohio, for noon today. But I want to talk a little Ohio politics here, but just finish up with a couple more demonstrations of how Kamala Harris is, like every Democrat, doing what she accuses the other side of doing. Her little play acting, sitting on a plane with a blank piece of paper and her headphones not plugged into her phone while she's supposedly talking to the FEMA director and directing all the federal response to Hurricane Helene. We morphed from that into, I've called Governor DeSantis, he won't take my calls. Yeah, because he's busy, and because you've never reached out to him before on any hurricane. And as Ron DeSantis said yesterday, she has no role in this. That is 100% accurate. Here's Karl Rove talking about what the Fed's responsibility is during a disaster like Hurricane Milton.
It's ceremonial, the governor talking to the president, because what the president's going to say is, anything you need, you just tell my FEMA director, Federal Emergency Management Agency, director, what it is that you need, we'll give it to you. That's the customary phone call on a disaster like this. So even the president doesn't have much to do with it. It's a bit, and again, I repeat, the role of the federal government is to have a big checkbook and to have federal resources that can be asked, drawn upon by the governor at his direction.
Now, I don't know how much good it's going to do Ron DeSantis or even Democrat governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, to reach out to FEMA because of FEMA's failures on the North Carolina hurricane response. We've started to dig into how FEMA does what it is supposed to be doing. And this is a while ago, this is in Congress, but you could trace back, okay, maybe FEMA's not doing the job in North Carolina. We're suspect of the kind of job they're going to do in Florida. Wait, I'm perilously approaching misinformation, which is dangerous. But stick with me. Here's Deanne Criswell, the head of FEMA, appearing before Congress, talking about what FEMA had to do, what FEMA had to prioritize in order to do its job really, really well.
We also know the more our workforce resembles the nation we serve, the better that we will serve it. We are adapting our recruiting efforts to reach individuals from underrepresented communities by partnering with organizations like historically Black colleges and universities and other minority-serving institutions.
So we're doing the equity thing at FEMA. And let me read to you from the FEMA manual that is given to FEMA employees so that they understand the priorities that will theoretically allow them to respond to disasters all over the U.S. In a better fashion. Under the heading, why start with white supremacy and race? This is official FEMA material given to its employees. Why start with white supremacy and race? Question. Yeah, why? I mean, tree's down, a tree is down. Maybe we should pick it up. Wait, whose tree is it? Reading from the manual. White supremacy is an ideology, a pattern of values and beliefs that are ingrained in nearly every system and instruction in the U.S. It is a belief that to be white is to be human and invested with inalienable universal rights, and that to be not white means you are less than human, a disposable object for others to abuse and misuse. The white Christian male is the standard default setting in society. Race intersects all other dimensions of diversity. That'll help you handle a chainsaw better. That'll help you operate a boat and put a life jacket on someone and pull them out of a house where they're drowning. But what about a mudslide, Bruce? What about a rock slide? What about like rescuing somebody inside a trapped vehicle at the bottom of a ravine? Well, fortunately, there's more in the FEMA manual. Under the heading, the uncomfortable truth, the FEMA manual reads, the United States was established and rooted in extreme, extraordinary violence, murder, theft of land and resources, sexual assault, and the systemic oppression of people of color, the indigenous, poor, whites, immigrants. Wait, I thought whites had it all. I thought we were at the top of the food chain. We're on the same FEMA page. Get your intersectional nonsense straight, would you please? And the last words on the FEMA manual page that I'm reading from say, the established economic, justice, and social systems all require subjugation of certain groups. So there you go. If you're in the mountains of North Carolina and you can't get food and you can't get water, maybe you should repent of your whiteness. And maybe you should become like Matt Walsh did in the Daily Wire movie, Am I Racist? Maybe you should go get your DEI certification somewhere from some online grifter who will give you a card saying that now you've done the work. There's a whole lot more in the FEMA manual about LGBTQ sensitivity. And I know in the past I've played for you the Kamala Harris cuts that FEMA needs to be concerned about how natural disasters disproportionately impact people of color. I don't really know how a hurricane or a tornado is aware of who lives where. I don't think Xenia, Ohio in 1974 was overwhelmingly black when a tornado blew through there and flattened everything. I don't think states like Oklahoma, Nebraska are overwhelmingly black. I think they're pretty overwhelmingly white, yet that's in Tornado Alley. It's all a mystery to me.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Hurricane Milton came ashore last night in Florida and has left at least 4 people dead, now blown out back over the Atlantic Ocean, but the potential deadly flooding is still to come for many of the areas hard hit by the heavy rains. Florida Republican Congressman Mike Waltz told the Salem Radio Network that Milton also is posing some national security threats because of the flooding potential for sites that are sensitive to U.S. special operations. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits last week jumped to their highest level in a year. Meanwhile, Social Security recipients getting some good news. They'll be receiving a 2.5% increase in their benefits in 2025. That translates into about $50 more per monthly payment starting in January. After new record highs yesterday, it's been a struggle on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is down about 70 points. This is SRN News.
Our government has engorged itself on borrowed money. Now we are over $30 trillion in debt. If this bubble finally implodes, many Americans will be left penniless and heartbroken. For example, what happens if state and federal pension funds go broke, or 401ks and IRAs get cut in half due to hyperinflation? Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau, news analyst, best-selling author, and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. People who understand something big is coming. Now's the time to prepare with a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals are among the most proven hedges you can make, and they're even better inside a tax advantage account. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached, so just text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you are blessed with continued
news, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn or iHeart.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation, government handouts, and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word FAITH to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
Are you under the impression that a metal roof costs 2 or 3 times more than a shingle roof? No, it doesn't. Hi, folks. I'm Dan Tolan, owner of The Metal Roof Company. As your foremost metal roofing authority in Central Ohio, I can promise you it's the most inexpensive roof you'll ever buy because it's the last roof you'll ever buy. With lifetime warranties and a variety of financing options, give us a call at 721-ROOF. 721-ROOF. Or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
He's the voice of a new generation, willing to fight for what's right in the greatest country ever conceived. He's Charlie Kirk, and you can hear him weekdays from 6 to 7, and again 11 to midnight on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
October the 22nd, fast approaches, 12 days away, less than 2 weeks. Come on, you got to make your plans to be with us at Genoa Christian Fellowship for the Battleground Talkers Tour, which is now brought to you in part by Americans for Prosperity. We will have the Ohio State Chair and Director of the Americans for Prosperity, with us in coming days to talk about this event, where we will have myself on stage. Now, I'm not just going to give the welcome speech. I'm going to be moderating the conversation on stage with Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, our own Jack Windsor, and others, political officials elected and seeking re-election or seeking election for the first time. It happens at Genoa in Westerville, same place we had the Talkers Tour 2 years ago. We are selling out and we are beating everyone in the country because your interest in politics is, of course, substantial. So get your general admission tickets for $5 and your VIP tickets, which include food and preferred seating, by using the promo code Bruce25, all available to you to get into the event at 989theanswer.com. All right, I apologize. I promised you I would play the newest Trump ad from The View. I predicted at the time they might turn this into a Trump ad, and it took less than a day for them to do so. It's not Donald Trump. It's Sunny Hostin of The View, and then Kamala Harris, and then the former and hopefully future president weighs in just briefly at the end.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Yes, he is Donald J. Trump, and he does approve that message because she sounds like an idiot. And there have been people who have said, well, look, you know, there are a lot of things she could have said. Not really. Not really. She would have alienated someone. Well, for instance, if she had said, you know, in hindsight, it was a mistake to shutter the Keystone XL pipeline on day one because we put a lot of people out of work and it caused a spike in energy prices. No, she would have offended the environmentalists, the green energy doofuses out there. If she had said, you know, in hindsight, maybe we could have withdrawn from Afghanistan a little bit. Maybe we should have stayed at Bagram Air Force Base rather than going in to the heart of Kabul and getting 13 American soldiers blown to smithereens. Maybe that would have been a better idea. No, because then she would have been questioning Joe Biden, and then Biden would be even more passive-aggressive against her than he already is by saying how Ron DeSantis is doing a fantastic job while Kamala Harris is saying Ron DeSantis is playing politics. She's boxed in because everything she says, if she says it differently, will alienate a portion of her voting base that she's not willing to alienate. And also because she's just stupid and can't think on her feet. There's that as well. Maybe she can't say, well, you know, spending all that money on the Inflation Reduction Act. No, she would aggravate the environmentalists, and people would point out, you know, you cast a tying vote on that. If you wouldn't want to do that over, she can't even say she regrets it. Which, by the way, speaking of inflation, birthed by the Inflation Reduction Act, did you know there were new numbers out today? Here's the breaking news from CNBC.
All right, let's take a look at CPI. Comes in a little bit hotter than anticipated, up 0.2%, same as last month. Forecast was for 0.1. The core comes in up 0.3. That is also a little bit hotter than forecast. 0.2 was the belief. 0.3 was what we saw in August. The year-over-year numbers, 2.4% for the headline, not as good as anticipated, and for the core, 3.3%, not as good as anticipated.
I was reliably informed that inflation was under control, like the Fed cut rates 0.5 percentage point, right? Like everything's fine. It's all good. We've got it under control. Wait, are we going in the other direction? We are going in the other direction. Oh, well, we certainly need to go in a different direction. I mean, even Kamala Harris says her campaign is we're not going back. She just doesn't want to admit that she's the reason why we need to go in a different direction. And here's a further demonstration of why we need to go in a different direction, because your safety depends on it, and because we can only survive as a country so long if we continue to, as Voltaire once said, ignore things that are obvious. The full quote from Voltaire is, "A nation disintegrates when it ceases to recognize things that are obvious." A nation disintegrates when it ceases to recognize things that are obvious. There's another famous quote. I don't know if it was a Voltaire quote or someone else. And that quote, you could marry it to a nation disintegrates when it ceases to recognize things that are obvious. That quote is, "It is impossible to free fools from the chains that they revere." It is impossible to free fools from the chains that they revere. Democrats are fools, and one of the chains that they revere is, of course, intersectionality. I referred to it in the opening segment of the show. Intersectionality is why Kamala Harris is the Democratic candidate for president. They had many different options as vice president under Joe Biden, but he was beholden to James Clyburn, the black congressman from South Carolina, who helped Biden stave off Bernie Sanders for the nomination because the Democrats knew Bernie Sanders couldn't win. So they did to Bernie Sanders what they did to Hillary Clinton when she was running against Barack Obama, is they fixed it so that she couldn't win then and Sanders couldn't win in 2020. And so they named Kamala Harris, and now when Joe Biden proves himself to be a mush brain, they have nowhere to go but her, and they can't get rid of her. Why? Because she's a black woman. How much did you hear that? Oh, we can't get rid of her. She's a black woman. So intersectionality is what they revere, and it imperils your safety because it is impacting our nation's police departments. Here's a story out of Maryland where a $2.75 million settlement will resolve a federal investigation into discriminatory hiring practices. Now, I'm not for discriminatory hiring practices. Who did it disadvantage? Well, black and female applicants to the Maryland State Police. Why? What did the Maryland State Police do to disadvantage black and female applicants? They made them take a written test called the Police Officer Selection Test, which the feds then said disproportionately excluded black candidates, and that the physical fitness test also disproportionately excluded female candidates. Now, the feds contended that neither the test, the written test, or the physical fitness test were job related. In other words, you didn't need to pass the test in order to do the job of being a police officer. So the 25 black female applicants who got rejected because they couldn't pass the written test or they couldn't pass the physical fitness test will share in a $2.75 million settlement. So they won't need to be police officers anymore because they'll be rich. The head of the Maryland State Police, who's apparently had his testicles removed, says, "We view this settlement as an improvement to our hiring processes, and we'll use this as an opportunity to engage with experts to enhance our ability to assess new applicants and continue to have our Maryland State Police be the career choice for every Marylander." The Justice Department also lauded these, quote, meaningful reforms, unquote, and said that now all qualified applicants will have, quote, a fair chance to serve. So I want to know what the physical fitness requirements were of a Maryland police officer that discriminated against black female applicants, don't you? Here they are. These were racist. They had to do 18 push-ups with no time limit. They had to do 27 sit-ups with no time limit. They had to run 1.5 miles in 15 minutes and 20 seconds. And after they had these standards, they noticed that the female applicants in Maryland were failing at a disproportionate rate. To the written exam we go next. Here's a question right from the exam that was racist. On Tuesday, Officer Jones worked the 3 to 11 p.m. shift. At 11, he was called to the scene of an accident where he remained until 1:30 a.m. How long past his regular shift did Officer Jackson work? 55 minutes, 1 hour and 50 minutes, 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes, or 3 hours and 5 minutes? 11 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Yes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. The next question, deemed to be racist because the black females failed it. A police officer is called to an accident scene across town from his present location. If he has to travel 2 miles on Grant Road, 3 miles on Route 47, and 12 miles on I-70, how many miles does he have to travel to get to the accident scene. 2 miles on Grant Road, 3 miles on Route 47, and 12 miles on I-70. Let's see. 2 plus 3 plus 12 is 17 miles. Not hard, but too hard for the black female applicants. Third question. Mr. Smith kept all his cooking utensils in good working condition. All the kitchen blanks were very sharp. Your options are knife, knives with a V, knifes with an F, and they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it. Racist exam, racist physical education, physical requirements. Don't you feel safe now?
Sunny skies this afternoon. The high today at 67. Clear, chilly evening, low to light 40. Partly sunny, terrific day tomorrow. The high 74. Ending clear skies tomorrow night, low 50. Clouds and sun. Nice day on Saturday. The high 74. Partly cloudy Saturday evening, low 57. Clouds and breezy. Shower or two on Sunday. High Sunday 72. Monday, partly sunny, cooler day. The high only 57. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare. And that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month in MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of typical health insurance plans. Double. That's because MediShare works and has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $6 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yes, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Just call 844-94-BIBLE. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you want health care you could be happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 844-94-BIBLE. That is 844-94-BIBLE. Call 844-94-BIBLE. That is MediShare. It works. It's terrific. So please check it out right now. 844-94-BIBLE. Call right now.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I am so thankful for your prayers and the concern of so many friends I've met through my work here at The Answer since my brain cancer diagnosis about 1 year ago. One of those friends, Dr. Brandon Schreiner of Revive Chiropractic and Lewis Center, has worked with me on some projects before my diagnosis, and since then, he and the specialists at Revive have helped me recover from surgery and treatment with little to no side effects. By getting my neck and spine back into alignment at Revive, I've given myself the best chance to heal and return to an active lifestyle. Now, if you're tired of being in pain, tired of being unable to do what you enjoy most, there's no better time than now to contact Revive during their new patient special. Mention my name and you'll pay just $65 for a consultation with the doctors, an exam, your first treatment, and x-rays if needed. Let Dr. B and the team at Revive do for you what they've done for me. Find them online at revivechiro.com. That's revivechiro.com, or call 614-781-8808, revivechiro.com, or 614-781-8808.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
If you're a local business and want to see what Salem Surround can do for you, Google Salem Surround Columbus. Remember to Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2 to Retire Ready Ohio with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
Hi, I'm Paul George with Keller Williams Greater Columbus Realty, host of the Paul George Real Estate Show, broadcasting every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on 98.9 The Answer. Using over 30 years of trusted real estate agent experience in Central Ohio, I'll share invaluable insights into the ever-evolving local real estate market, provide you with current trends, and bring industry experts who will share their wisdom on the art of buying and selling homes. Join me every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Would you like to have beautiful new flooring in your home? Maybe you have guests coming in for the holidays. They're not that far away. I know we're all focused on the election, but hey, Thanksgiving, Christmas bearing down on you. And why don't you beat the rush and remodel your home with beautiful new flooring, maybe with your tax refund or hey, the threat of Kamala Harris getting in office and prices soaring through the roof again? Well, if you would like new flooring or even to just investigate the possibility you're not committed to anything, go to brucehooley.com and click on the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Give me the chance to come out, measure your space, and give you a quote as to what it'll cost to put beautiful new carpet or very durable, beautiful, looks like wood, looks like tile, luxury vinyl plank flooring in your home. brucehooley.com, flooring tab, upper right-hand corner of the page. All the major brands installed faster and sold to you for less. brucehooley.com, flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Yesterday was the first day of early voting in Ohio, and the turnout was, they say, in Franklin County, quite robust. Are we sure we're going to have a free and fair election in the state of Ohio? If we don't, it won't be Frank LaRosa's fault. Frank LaRose, our Secretary of State, has fought gamely to repel the left in their efforts to stack the ballot boxes, keep Sherrod Brown in the Senate, and pass Issue 1, which is an epic disaster. Do not vote for Issue 1. Tell all your friends, everybody you interact with at church, every single friend you have, it's a Democratic power grab. It does exactly what the Democrats say it does not do. It finagles districts throughout the state of Ohio to balance Democrats and Republicans in the state legislature, state legislature in the Ohio General Assembly. It is meant to create a panel that will phony up the district boundaries so that as many Democrats can get elected as Republicans. Is that the will of the people, or should we just let the people vote and then find out who wins? And when that happens, of course, Democrats lose, which is why they hate it. But I notice in this story from Nathan Hart in the Columbus Dispatch something that, well, piques my interest and makes me question whether or not there's some funny business going on in Franklin County. There certainly is in Fairfield County, which we'll get to in a moment. Nathan Hart reports that on the first day of early voting yesterday, nearly 2,000 more votes were cast than were cast on the first day of early voting in 2016. Now, I was like, that's odd. Why would you compare the early voting totals from yesterday to the early voting totals of 2016? I know we had a presidential election in 2016, but, you know, Nathan, we also had a presidential election in 2020. Wouldn't it be a better comparison to say, give us the totals from yesterday compared to the first day of early voting in 2020 rather than 2016? And then here's the answer. He writes, turnout data for 2020's first day of early voting remains unavailable because, and here's the key part, Franklin County switched its voter registration systems after the election. Oh, really? Heavily Democrat, all Democrat run Franklin County switched its voter registration systems after the election, did it? Oh, I'm sure there's nothing nefarious there. Aren't you sure? Aren't you positive that it was all done to steward more fair elections and not at all advantage Democrats? Now, I mentioned Fairfield County. This story comes to us courtesy of our friend Jack Windsor, host of the Windsor Report, which you can hear here on The Answer at 5 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The headline on the OhioPressNetwork.com story, in quotation marks, "We are not to be the ID police." This is a quote from a Fairfield County poll worker or prospective poll worker. Quoting, well, no, it's a poll trainer, I'm sorry, who said this, "We are not to be the ID police," to someone who was asking about election integrity procedures implemented by the Ohio Secretary of State's office. Here's a copy of the complaint from this woman. I attended poll worker training today, October the 8th at 9 a.m., held at the Fairfield County Board of Elections. I have worked at the polls in the past and was aware of new information to be presented regarding voter ID. When the trainer, Tara, spoke about the acceptable forms of ID and what to look for, I asked if that was to include the new non-citizen, non-transferable, and non-renewable notation that is now designated on licenses. She said, Tara, the head of the polls, telling people who are volunteering to work at the polls, and somebody questioned the voter ID, she, Tara, said, our duty is to follow what's outlined in the book that was presented on the slide. It did not include the new information yet. Tara then stated, we are not to be the ID police. And if that is what we do and we look into it further, then we should consider a different part of the election process. In other words, if you insist upon implementing the newest forms of voter ID approved by the state of Ohio, if you insist on that and you are going to catch someone who is not eligible to vote because they are not a citizen, then we don't want you working the polls in Fairfield County. The complaint from the poll worker says, we were told if we did pursue that line, then we would be removed from our duties as a poll worker and not allowed to serve again. So then this woman who's trying to volunteer, trying to serve, trying to steward oversight, says, I just let it go at that point. Then after the training, I was in the office and saw another trainer named Josh. Boy, Josh, boy, Tara, I hope the state of Ohio comes down on you with the full brunt. Tara, or the poll worker says, I brought up the ID question to Josh and mentioned that Tara was a bit defensive to my line of questions. He then reiterated that we are not to be an investigator. I asked him why they were not using the latest training manual release that has the new ID information procedures in it. Josh said they use what they feel is important and relevant, and that they really don't have a rule regarding individual Board of Election offices. Huh? So what? There's 88 counties in the state of Ohio, and we can all just kind of do it however we want to do it, right? I didn't think this would happen in Fairfield County. Franklin County, Cuyahoga County, Hamilton County, Montgomery County, sure. Did Josh have any parting words for this prospective poll worker? He did. Her complaint says he stated that if anyone questioned those IDs, then the person would be removed from their duties and not permitted to serve again. Wow. Nobody's shocked. I'm shocked by where. I'm not shocked by what, okay? Because this is what Democrats are doing all across. Fairfield County is a red county. They're doing this in Fairfield County. The people who are in power over the training, the Democratic Party, their Democratic operatives, I don't know if it's Soros funded or who it's funded by, but they get their people in positions of power. Counties like where Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton, Cleveland are located, they're lost. You're not going to change that, okay? Because everything's either a political appointee or it's elected, and those counties are gone, and that's where most people live. That's why Tim Walz wants to get rid of the Electoral College, because he doesn't want rural people to have a voice. But if they get these operatives, and they are apparently from this complaint, into places like Fairfield County, because Ohio used to be a swing state, right? Now Ohio's red because Ohio realizes, well, those Democratic policies weren't working for me so well. They can manipulate outcomes. And that is the goal. They're not democracy. They're not interested in democracy. They're interested in authoritarianism. And they're implementing it even on the local level.
Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance.
All right. If you'd like to hear a segment with Matt Mayer, opportunityohio.org, you'll have to flip to the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 989 The Answer Facebook page. Pleasure to be with you today. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.